And down in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Whirlwind, we have from compLexity Academy our Orange Zerg player, winner of the last game. It is Fuzzy. It is Fuzzy. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner from Team Alt, our green Protoss player, Bails.
All right, so the first Protoss player in this match so far. I've basically forgotten what their units even do. They have like the punchy guys, right, and the laser guys.
The punchy guys have like sword kind of things that slice. They can make Ultralisk explode. So,
oh, that's right. If they hit them in the right spot on the front of the snout, they will explode an Ultralisk open from the inside. I think it's like a pressure thing, right? So the Ultralisk doesn't have a lot of ventilation, so when punched properly on the nose, it just bursts open from the inside. Okay.
Yeah, that's basically the biology of the Ultralisk.
Okay, so just making sure. And when they burrow, they're very, very well concealed. Terran Marines cannot see an Ultralisk while it's burrowed, even if its entire head is poking out of the ground.
That's right.
So they're very stealthy units as well.
I've always wondered about those because there's a small portion. It like ripples the ground as they move along and stuff like that. But apparently that's just you can't detect it.
No, it's impossible to see that, especially if they move right under a Marine. And just like pop out underneath him. Yeah, that just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But
what was the design flaw in orbital commands anyway? That they have to wait for 50 energy for things like that to actually for detection to pop up. They just have to like sit there and they're like, you know, it's army, the fighting and the war right now, but we gotta wait.
And why can't a command center just land on something that's burrowed?
Yeah. Or that's not burrowed, for that matter. Zergling Command Center? Come on. This is an easy thing.
You wouldn't want to land on a roach or something like that. You could risk some structural damage, but if it's already burrowed, what's it going to do? It can't attack you from down there. So
exactly.
Might as well just trap them.
All right.
Yeah.
We're pointing out flaws in Terran engineering here. We haven't even mentioned the mule, so.
The space mule.
And it looks like the hatchery does manage to get put down. The probe did not block that for very long. Fuzzy was sending out another drone over to the third just in case, but it doesn't look like he's going to have to worry about that right now.
That's right, and Fuzzy just basically not giving a care in the world, getting his hatchery up. It looks like Bails is going to be putting up a Nexus as well, and that first gateway to help complete his wall off at the top of this natural ramp.
As you guys can see, this map, we've only seen it. It's only the third time it's popped up in play in IPL yet. It is one of our new maps, and one of those games was a 3-minute 6 pool.
That's
so
right.
We didn't really get a good look at the map, but as you can see, the natural has this wide ramp, about as wide as Antigua Shipyard, but it's got a neutral supply depot that's raised and sitting off to the side. So it is something that is exploitable, because without that, this ramp is only about as wide as, say, Shakura's Plateau or Ohana, something like that.
Yeah, essentially that raised depot is just like a smaller destructible rock. I mean, it might as well just be a rock. It's not serving any purpose other than basically blocking a little bit of space, and it's removable. I do want to touch on something coming for the Heart of the Swarm, the collapsible rocks. Have you seen that yet?
Yes.
Okay, so collapsible rocks, the way that works is it's going to block half of a ramp to start, and if you break it down like you would normal destructible rocks, it'll then fall over and cover the entire ramp instead of just disappearing. So you can set it up as a defensive sort of mechanism where the other player then has to come destroy these two smaller rocks instead. It's very, very bizarre.
That's kind of cool. I mean, like, the only thing we were missing in terms of quantity of rocks in maps in StarCraft 2 was the ability for players to create more rocks themselves, and we have that.
Yeah, but they could just like build depots or something. I mean, but this doesn't cost any minerals.
That's true.
It only costs time, you know, and dedication of units to attack. So it'll be an interesting mechanic. I mean, that's really not even the most crazy thing in Heart of the Swarm by a long shot. No. So we'll be seeing here very soon. Blizzard has already announced that the beta is coming soon. I'm sure that we're going to get a nice look at it pretty early on, so hopefully we'll be able to bring you guys a bunch of cool stuff with Heart of the Swarm, but that could be any day now, I feel like.
Seems like it.
Could be blindsided by it.
All right. Well, interesting to note, Fuzzy put up this expansion about a minute and a half later than a lot of Zerg players will do. He decided to get a third queen and a couple extra lings and drones out there a little bit earlier on, and is investing into his gas a bit quicker as well. So a little bit later on the hatchery, a little bit quicker into the gas, maybe feeling a bit worried about what could be running out of his opponent pretty soon. Bails, as we can see, going up to a Stargate and Twilight Council at the same time. So a heavy gas investment there. A lot of times you'll see Robo right after this for an eventual switch into aggressive play, but oh wow, and a full wall being put down at the front.
All right, so the full wall makes me think that he's not going to be making very many ground units and actually might commit more heavily into air. Obviously, if he was going to be making a lot more ground units, he'd be a little bit more comfortable leaving that wall open. But this Stalker and Zealot combo, if not being able to kill a whole lot, is at least very distracting to his Zerg opponent. We'll see if the Void Ray is actually going to get any damage done. It looks like he's already locked on to an Overlord target near his natural there, so going to get an early kill from that. Probably can manage to locate another Overlord if he decides to look over that third base, but instead it looks like he's just going to run straight onto the main. He's not making any Phoenixes to follow this up, though, and that's usually what we see, so that the Phoenix can catch up to the Void Ray and start to do some lifting of important targets or start attacking down Overlords, stuff like that. So it's kind of weird.
It looks like he's planning to use it, though, to draw out a lot of anti-air defenses and then just follow this up with a huge, like, 6-gate blink push or something like that, or 7-gate blink stalker push. But as of yet, his opponent isn't biting. There's no additional queens.
2 spores.
There, finally, some spore crawlers, but that's not exactly an overreaction.
Yeah, 2 spores. We'll see if it baits out a Spire from when this lair gets finished, but the robotics facility is down now, or at least started to be produced. Yeah, now that Lair's done, it looks like Fuzzy does have the cash to be able to build a Spire. He's not doing it yet, so perhaps he just wants to wait on a little bit more information. Hasn't seen any Phoenixes yet, so I mean, he doesn't really feel the need to react to just one Void Ray yet, when Queens actually do a great job of killing them down as is.
But the Void Ray is able to charge up with the aid of the Zealot there in tow as well. So even though the Void Ray is going to take some damage, looks like this Queen is going to die. So 2 Queens killed for the investment of 1 Zealot, essentially, and that is pretty good trade. As we can see, though, it's a total of 4 gates with a robotics facility. Finally, the Sentry is starting to make their way out.
Yeah, it looks like Bails is just completely done with air units. He did it just to try and bait out some anti-air, like you said, and Fuzzy just didn't really care. If he's not, you know, if it's not an imminent threat, there's no reason to actually overreact. There is a Spire coming up now, so he will be able to deal with the Void Ray. We'll see how much he actually chooses to invest in that. It's kind of interesting that he didn't go for the Infestation Pit right away, but we'll see what his plans are. All these sentries, a lot of force fields getting baited out. Some Lings do go down, but that's a lot of energy already for just a handful of Ling kills.
Thankfully, though, the sentries didn't die. With them being surrounded that badly, I mean, the loss of a couple of sentries there would have been crippling.
Yeah, and a macro hatch is coming up now for Fuzzy as well. Once the Spire's done, he should have around 1,000 gas, maybe even more. So if he wants to make a big amount of Mutalisks, he will be able to do that. Otherwise, he could just start spreading his tech around a little bit more, get that Infestation Pit, start working toward Hive, all that stuff. But Bails on the other side, just upgrading ground forces, getting an Immortal out now. Not a whole lot going on otherwise, though. No third base yet, as there was some creep pooped upon the third base location. So he's going to have to wait if he wants to drop a Nexus there.
Yes, he is, and decides to make another round of Stalkers in the meantime. So all this has been a little bit delayed for Bails, but of course, with that Spire coming up, this has been quite delayed for Fuzzy as well. And he does have the ability to produce a lot of Mutalisks now, quite a bit of gas saved up.
11 Mutalisks potentially. There's 7 already on the way. Maybe he wants to wait a second and see. Up to 8 now. Maybe I really want him to make an Infestation Pit. I don't know why. Just hurry up. Do it.
Well, he's not yet. So picking off another drone or 2. So this is pretty good. I mean, this Void Ray, it was a huge investment. 250, 100 for the Void Ray itself, and you had the 150, 100 for the Stargate. So it's a big investment, but it's proven to be annoying. It's killed 2 Queens, and it's picked off a few drones. So
a couple of Overlords here and there.
And now it's going to die.
Yep, so he's served his purpose well, though. 7 kills on a Void Ray is nothing to sneeze at. Like we discussed earlier, sneezing at things is kind of rude. Shaking sticks at things also considered to be somewhat rude, but
and only small things.
Yeah, well, that's what you shake sticks at.
Yes,
small things. Otherwise, you know, you fear reprisal. But yeah, production just pretty steady for both sides right now. Just a lot of Lings actually coming out now for Fuzzy, so it looks like he is gearing up for a big frontal attack. He's going to have to basically outlast the force fields that Bails has available, though.
There are a ton of mutas that are hitting the field, though. 15 are up, another 3 on the way. So we've seen this strategy. It was a little more familiar to us when we had maps like, say, Tal'Dorei Malta, where it was very difficult to take a third base, but then you would use mutas to secure interior third, eventual later bases. And it usually lends itself to incredibly long games because you just don't ever really kill your opponent. You just starve them out and keep denying their bases over and over again.
Yeah, this map structure is actually pretty close. Oh, all those force fields went behind the units so they couldn't escape, but it didn't really stop them from rolling in to try and do damage. More force fields being dropped just kind of all over the place. The Mutalisks probably want to get out of there and rejoin their ground forces. There they go, but Fuzzy still with a large supply advantage. He's got reinforcements, and he's actually attacking the natural now as well with a handful of roaches unopposed. Only a couple of stalkers there to try and slow them down, so as long as he keeps these mutas alive and continues to do damage at the natural, he can join all his forces up. A lot of Zerglings still on the ground, and all those force fields that got baited out in the last attack are now not available. He doesn't have any energy on the sentries, and he's going to be forced to warp in a bunch of stalkers now instead.
He has a Stargate. I'm surprised he's not producing just a Phoenix at a time or something like that. I mean, just even a few Phoenixes work wonders against Mutalisks.
Well, he's saving cash now for Colossi and extended thermal lances. They just got started, so really he has to be very, very conservative with his warp-ins at this point. Oh, nice pylon pick off there to unpower both of those cannons. Stalker's not going to be enough here to stop this large amount of Mutalisks, and the Lings and Roaches run in to surround all of these Stalkers on the ground. There is a Colossus in the back, but Fuzzy really doesn't even need to go attack in there. I'm a little surprised that he did when the natural is so wide open at this point. Roaches taking out Zealots there. The Colossus is still standing with the Mutalisk, might be able to wear him down. All this damage going down at the front. Cybernetics Core going down. That's actually huge. There's no way he's got a second Cybernetics Core, so Stalkers are not going to be able to be warped in. Sentry's not going to be able to be warped in. Even though that Colossus just popped out and managed to escape back to the force, it looks like Fuzzy is just running all over the place, doing whatever he wants inside the natural.
This is just devastating for Bails now. I mean, he's down to just 72 supply, 38 workers, and falling against 81. There it is. He's just going to give it up. There's GG, and compLexity Academy does take a 4-2 lead here